Hello, my wonderful health champions. Dr. Benjamin Cole here, your guide to thriving in your golden years. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that I know is on many of your minds. What are the truly healthiest foods we should be eating? You might be surprised by what we uncover, so stay with me until the very end because I've got some insights that could truly transform how you think about your plate. And yes, there's even a little delightful bonus waiting for you. For years, as a holistic doctor and even during my time as an Olympic decathlete, I've seen a common misconception swirling around the idea of superfoods. It's this notion that there's one magical food, a single silver bullet, that will solve all our health woes. People ask me all the time, Dr. Cole, I have a headache, what food should I eat? Or, my blood pressure is up, what's the one food for that? And while I appreciate the desire for simplicity, this way of thinking actually steers us in the wrong direction. Our bodies are magnificent, intricate machines, and they don't thrive on a single ingredient. They crave variety. Foods aren't meant to be quick fixes or medications. They are the fundamental building blocks, the rich soil from which our health grows. When we focus on a single superfood, we miss the incredible symphony of nutrients that a diverse diet provides. It's not about finding the number one healthiest food, but about understanding how different foods work together, complementing each other to give your body everything it needs, from essential amino acids and healthy fats to vital vitamins and minerals. Navigating the natural food aisle and understanding what your body truly needs. Now, before we dive into specific categories, I want to share another important caution, especially when you're strolling through the grocery store aisles. You know that section labeled natural foods? I often find myself chuckling when I see it. It begs the question, doesn't it? If there's a natural section, what does that make the rest of the store? Sometimes, natural simply means fewer chemicals, which is a good start, but it doesn't always guarantee that the food isn't still highly processed. Always be mindful, read labels, and understand that just because something is marketed as natural doesn't automatically make it a health food, because there are so many truly beneficial foods out there. Rather than just listing individual items, I want us to think in terms of categories. This approach will help you build a well-rounded and nutrient-dense diet without feeling restricted or overwhelmed. And remember, these aren't listed in any particular order of importance. It's the beautiful variety that counts. Category 1. Non-starchy vegetables. Your everyday green powerhouses. Let's start with a foundational group that should be a cornerstone of almost every meal: non-starchy vegetables. Think of these as nature's multivitamins. We're talking about those wonderful leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, and kale. Any kind of leafy vegetable is incredibly high in vital nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and fiber. What's more, they are remarkably low in carbohydrates, starch, and sugar, making them perfect for maintaining steady blood sugar levels. You really can't eat too many leafy greens. Beyond the leafy varieties, consider broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. While not leafy, they share that fantastic low-starch profile. The key here is to learn which vegetables have less than 5% net carbs. Remember, net carbs means taking the total carbohydrates and subtracting the fiber. Some vegetables might have 15 grams of total carbs, but if nearly all of that is fiber, they're still an excellent choice. These vegetables are truly powerhouse providers of an enormous range of vitamins and minerals crucial for everything from bone health to immune function. Category 2. Berries. Nature's sweet, nutrient-packed jewels. Next up are berries. Now, there's a lot of discussion about fruits in general, and my little caveat here is that while fruits offer nutrients, many modern fruits have been selectively bred to be much sweeter and larger than what our ancestors encountered. Our bodies aren't designed to handle the year-round abundance of high-sugar fruits we have today. This is where berries shine. They are, in my professional opinion, the best type of fruit to enjoy. Why? Because they are typically the lowest in sugar, the highest in fiber, and absolutely packed with beneficial vitamins and antioxidants. Think of strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. They offer a burst of flavor and nutrition without the sugar spike of many other fruits. Enjoy them, but perhaps not in unlimited quantities. A handful of berries is a delightful and healthy addition to your day. But remember, moderation is key even with good things. Category 3. Animal proteins. essential building blocks for life. Moving on, we come to a category that has sustained humanity for millennia: animal proteins. This group offers a complete spectrum of essential amino acids, the building blocks your body needs to repair tissues, build muscle, and produce hormones. In fact, animal proteins are one of the few food groups that humans could, in theory, live on exclusively for an extended period and truly thrive. Most other single food sources would eventually lead to deficiencies. This includes beef, pork, chicken, lamb, and even wild game like rabbit, venison, and buffalo. And of course, we can't forget fish, especially the clean, fatty varieties like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These fish are incredibly rich in those crucial omega-3 fatty acids, which are vital for brain health, heart health, and reducing inflammation throughout the body. Here's a critical point to remember. You are what your food eats. The health of the animal directly impacts the nutritional quality of the meat you consume. I strongly advise doing your best to avoid grain-fed beef. Cows are designed to eat grass, and when they are fed grains, which is often done to fatten them up quickly for market, it throws off the delicate balance of omega-3s and omega-6s in their meat. If grass-fed seems too expensive, start where you can. Perhaps choose grass-fed once a week, or prioritize it for certain cuts. Every small step towards naturally raised animal protein makes a difference. The same principle applies to fish. Always opt for wild-caught over farm-raised. Farmed fish are often fed unnatural diets and live in crowded conditions, which can compromise their nutritional value and overall health. When we interfere with nature's design, the results are rarely optimal for our health. Category 4. Eggs. A nutrient-dense powerhouse. Eggs. Often called nature's perfect food, and for good reason. While duck or ostrich eggs are certainly options, for most of us, we're talking about eggs from hens. The quality of the egg is directly linked to the health and living conditions of the hen. If a hen leads a natural, healthy life, foraging outdoors, her eggs will be rich, vibrant, and packed with nutrients. Conversely, eggs from hens raised in crowded, stressful conditions, fed poor diets, will be pale and nutritionally inferior, if not downright toxic. What we're looking for, especially in the United States, is the pasture-raised standard. This means the chickens are truly living outdoors, with ample space, at least 108 square feet per chicken. They're pecking at bugs, munching on grass and seeds, and living as chickens were meant to live. When you crack open a pasture-raised egg, you'll immediately notice the difference. A deep, rich, almost orange yolk, not the pale yellow of mass-produced eggs. The yolk might even appear larger in comparison to the egg white. And a quick note. Be sure you're looking for pasture-raised, not pasteurized. Pasteurized eggs are simply cheap eggs that have been heat-treated, essentially sterilized, to prolong shelf life. They don't offer the superior nutritional benefits of pasture-raised. Category 5. Healthy fats and oils, fueling your body the right way. Now let's talk about something that has, for far too long, been unfairly demonized: fats and oils. For decades, we were told that fat makes you fat. But we now understand that the fat stored on our bodies doesn't primarily come from the fat we eat. It's largely a result of hormones like insulin, triggered by excessive consumption of sugars, starches, and highly processed foods. When you eat a diet that doesn't constantly spike your insulin, healthy fats are not only perfectly fine, but absolutely essential. The key here is that fats and oils need to be in their natural or minimally processed state. Ideally, you get healthy fats directly from the food itself, like in a fatty cut of grass-fed meat. But it's also perfectly fine to use isolated fats and oils, as long as they are minimally processed and not subjected to high heat during extraction. Excellent choices include grass-fed butter, organic is even better, organic extra virgin olive oil, and organic coconut oil. You're also seeing more and more readily available MCT oil, medium-chain triglycerides, which can be a fantastic energy source. Don't overlook traditional fats like lard and tallow, pork and beef fat, especially if they come from healthy, naturally raised animals. If you make your own bone broth from grass-fed organic beef, you can skim off that rich tallow and use it for cooking. It's a wonderful natural fat. One crucial point about concentrated fats: most pesticides, toxins, and hormones are fat-soluble. This means that if you're buying non-organic, conventionally raised fats, you might also be concentrating those harmful substances. This is why it's truly worth spending a few extra dollars to get organic, clean fats and oils. It's an investment in your health. Category 6. Nuts. A handful of goodness. Moving on to nuts. These can be an incredibly healthy addition to your diet, but there's a slight caveat. They do contain some omega-6 fatty acids, and while we need omega-6s, too much can throw off the delicate balance with omega-3s. So, while nuts are fantastic, they shouldn't be the absolute foundation of your diet, but rather a delicious and nutritious complement. When choosing nuts, focus on those that meet 3 key criteria. They should be raw or minimally processed. Roasting can reduce nutrients and alter healthy fats, low in carbohydrates, and high in fat. Why high in fat? Because higher fat usually means lower carbohydrates. In this hierarchy, macadamia nuts, pecans, walnuts, and almonds are your top choices. Walnuts and almonds are slightly higher in carbs, but since nuts are so calorie-dense, you'll likely eat them in moderation anyway, making them perfectly fine even for low-carb or ketogenic diets. Another fantastic benefit of nuts is their high content of fiber and protein, delivering a concentrated dose of nutrients in a small package. Category 7. Seeds. Tiny powerhouses of nutrition. Often lumped with nuts, but distinct enough to deserve their own category, are seeds. My personal favorites are chia, flax, hemp, and pumpkin seeds. Unlike nuts, which are often a grab-and-go snack, seeds are typically best incorporated into meals. You're not usually munching on flax seeds by the handful. These seeds are wonderful for low-heat cooking, making a no-oatmeal breakfast, or baking bread, as long as you keep the heat low. They're also fantastic additions to smoothies. If you enjoy yogurt, try grinding up some seeds and sprinkling them on top instead of sugary cereal. What's truly remarkable about these seeds is how incredibly inexpensive they are, especially now that they're becoming more popular. You can often find large bags at places like Costco, almost like they're giving them away. And for that small price, you get an incredible amount of healthy fats, fiber, and protein. They contain virtually zero net carbohydrates, as most of their carbohydrate content is fiber. While plant-based omega-3s are present in chia and flax, remember that your body's conversion of these into the usable form, like you find in fish oil, can be very low, sometimes as little as 1%. So, while seeds offer a good foundation, it's still important to get some omega-3s from fatty fish. Category 8. Avocado, the versatile creamy wonder, while I try to avoid the superfood label. If I had to pick one food that comes remarkably close, it would be the avocado. I truly believe it deserves its own category because it's just so incredibly versatile and beneficial. It's wonderfully tasting, creamy, and naturally high in healthy fats. You can enjoy it raw, simply scooped out with a spoon, or you can cook with it, add it to dishes, or make delicious guacamole. Avocado is incredibly satisfying, often making it a meal in itself. It genuinely goes with almost anything. I recently talked about fasting mimicking diets, and avocado would be the perfect food for that because it's high in fat, very low in carbohydrates, and low in protein. Truly a balanced, perfect food. Think of it not as a magical cure-all, but as a fantastic, versatile staple that complements nearly every healthy eating plan. Category 9. Tubers, root vegetables, quality carbs for specific needs. Our 9th category covers tubers or root vegetables. These are the underground energy reserves of plants, and they tend to be quite starchy. Examples include yams, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, rutabagas, turnips, carrots, and celeriac, celery root. Now, here's an important distinction. Because they are starchy, if you're trying to lose weight, following a very low-carb diet, like keto, or are insulin resistant, you'll want to consume these sparingly, if at all. However, if you are insulin sensitive, have reached your ideal weight, or are practicing carb cycling, perhaps low carb during the week and a bit more carbs on the weekend, these can be excellent choices. They offer a source of quality carbohydrates without the inflammatory properties often found in grains. While nutritious, remember they are starchy, so moderation is key. They make wonderful alternatives to mashed potatoes, or you can mix several varieties for a richer flavor and more diverse nutrients. They're also great for chopping into cubes for hearty vegetable or beef soups. Category 10. Herbs and spices, flavor, micronutrients, and more. Finally, our 10th category, and one that often gets overlooked for its powerful benefits, herbs and spices. Think of wonderful ingredients like garlic, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, cilantro, parsley, dill, and rosemary. These are incredibly rich in micronutrients, the tiny but mighty vitamins and minerals that your body needs in smaller quantities. While they won't provide significant macronutrients like protein, fat, or carbs, they are packed with minerals, vitamins, and often possess remarkable medicinal properties. I want to be clear, I don't want you to think of them as medications, but rather as powerful natural compounds that contribute to your overall well-being. For example, garlic, ginger, and turmeric have well-documented antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. Turmeric is a potent anti-inflammatory and supports gut healing, while cinnamon has been shown to have benefits for blood sugar regulation. So don't think of them as drugs to take for something. Instead, simply incorporate them generously and frequently into your healthy cooking. They'll make your food taste amazing while quietly delivering a host of health benefits. A little bonus treat: understanding dark chocolate. All right, my friends, it's time for that little bonus I promised. Life needs its treats, doesn't it? And for many, that treat is chocolate. But there's a world of difference between milk chocolate and truly dark chocolate. When you hear about the health benefits of chocolate, they are almost exclusively referring to dark chocolate. Why? Because the benefits come from the cocoa bean, which is packed with beneficial plant nutrients. Milk chocolate, unfortunately, is loaded with sugar, which often negates and even overrides any potential benefits from the cocoa. The darker the chocolate, the less sugar it contains. You can get a good idea by looking at the cocoa content percentage. If it says 78% cocoa, the remaining 22% is mostly sugar. If it's 85% cocoa, it's 15% sugar, and so on. Dark chocolate is surprisingly high in total carbohydrates, but a significant portion of that is fiber, so the net carbs are much lower. I personally enjoy chocolate with a cocoa content between 78% and 85%. The darker it is, the more satisfying it tends to be, which can actually help you avoid overeating. For example, one piece of a typical 78% dark chocolate bar might have only about 1.5 grams of sugar. If you're aiming for absolute zero sugar, then no chocolate, but 1 or 2 pieces of good quality dark chocolate isn't going to derail your health. At 85%, you're often down to about 1 gram of sugar per piece. Now, some of my patients tell me they can't tolerate anything above 50% cocoa because it's too bitter. Don't worry, your taste buds can change. The more you reduce sweets and sugar from your diet, the more your palate adapts. Foods you once thought were only sweet will begin to taste disgustingly sugary. As you adapt to real, whole foods and cut out added sugar, you'll start to truly appreciate the complex flavors of very dark chocolate. A 75%, 78%, 85%, or even 90% dark chocolate will become flavorful and much less bitter. And if you truly don't like chocolate, that's perfectly fine. It's not an essential food group. Stick with the other 10 categories we discussed, and you'll be well on your way to vibrant health. Your health journey starts now. I hope this deep dive into healthy eating has given you a clearer, more empowering perspective on how to fuel your body. Remember, it's about making conscious, consistent choices, focusing on variety, and truly listening to what your body thrives on. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep unlocking the secrets to mastering your health, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming discussions. I love hearing from you, so please share your thoughts, questions, and any healthy food tips you have in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.